Good morning! Happy 4th of July! So I totally just realized, like, I'm out of dish soap. Like, out. Like, even, like, opened it up, tried to pour it out. Of course, there's nothing, and I'm gonna have a lot of dishes to wash. So, my goal was to maybe not go to the grocery store today, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So, I might make breakfast and then oh, you guys, look what I just found. Awesome, I have a lot left. I recently reorganized kind of the under the sink thing, so I didn't see it, and I'm so glad it's in there. I really didn't want to go to the grocery store, so today, I've been having a hard time kind of like falling asleep. Okay, I woke up at 5:30. And I literally thought I was gonna be up for the day, but luckily, apparently I fell back asleep. So my mom was coming over at 8 to drop off some stuff I needed and to bring over Lola, who's on the couch. And so she has to walk right here by my window, and so I heard her and Lola. I'm like, why is she here so early? I hope everything's okay. Well, it was 8 o'clock. I fell back asleep, which I guess was good. I'm gonna wash dishes. So I'm gonna get breakfast started. So I was being super lazy, and usually I do one pancake at a time because for this pan, that kind of what fits best, but I totally wasn't in the mood. So look, so this is what happened. I was like, oh, perfect circle. Then I was like, well, just do an oval kind of one. That's how I roll. So this is what it looks like. You guys, it is so yummy. It's probably one of my most fave breakfasts. So I am going to sit down, enjoy my coffee and my pancakes. Okay, so I had breakfast and just changed into some comfy clothes. And so for the potluck today, I'm making corn salsa. You guys, it is so good. It is a crowd pleaser. It's super easy. If you're going to something where, like today, it's like an outdoor, kind of like a picnicking area, it doesn't need to be refrigerated, and the longer it sits, the better it gets. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you how I make it. Okay, so this is super simple. I do not have a recipe that I follow, but that's kind of the great thing, is that you can adjust things as you like, as you prefer. And so these are kind of the ingredients: corn and black beans. That's kind of the base of it. You can use fresh corn, which I typically do, but for today's purposes and knowing I had a lot to do today, I just bought the canned, and it's just as good. The thing with fresh corn is you've got to like clean it and get it off the cob, which is fine, but I always find there's little hairs, so I really want to make sure it's, I like to make sure it's, people talking, to make sure it's really clean, and I just knew I didn't want to mess with that today. Red onion, lime, garlic, cilantro, and salt. You can also add tomatoes. I do not like tomatoes, so I do not add them. And this recipe, again, if you're looking for like a strict recipe and you want to like follow something step by step, there, I'm sure on Pinterest there's a huge amount of recipes for this. So the first thing I do, oh, jalapeno for heat, again, totally optional, is I'm gonna go ahead and start with the corn and the beans. And always make sure that you rinse the beans and the corn. Okay, so for the recipe today, I used 2 cans of beans and 1 can of corn. I like the salsa to be more on the bean side than the corn side. So typically that's kind of the ratio. You usually need less corn than beans because there's a lot of corn in the can. So this is what it looks like, and that's looking pretty good. So next I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the red onion. Okay, so I probably put in about a little over half of an onion, about maybe, you know, I had a little bit left over from a half and then in most half, so a little over a half of an onion. Again, you saw me kind of put it in slowly because I stir it up and kind of see kind of what it looks like, the ratio, and so I ended up putting all of it in. So this is what it looks like. So that's what it looks like with the onions. So you get an idea of kind of how I mix it up. So I'm gonna put a clove of garlic in, but I find using a microplane works really well in recipes where you're gonna have raw garlic and you don't wanna have big chunks of it. So I just kind of put it on the grater. If you don't have one, then you can chop it really finely, that's fine. And see how it kind of all kind of, see how it all kind of gets right here? So just do that. My floor is a disaster. There's onion everywhere. Okay. Next is a jalapeno. So the heat is in the seeds and the ribs, so if you do not want it spicy, go ahead and take those out. Just as a precaution, do not touch your eyes after cutting this. Wash really, really well. But the spicy oil will linger, so be really careful with a jalapeno. Okay, so I started with half a jalapeno. There's going to be kids at this event, so I don't want to make it too spicy. And I'm going to save the other half because I'll taste it in a few hours and see if it needs a little bit more spice or it can handle just a little bit of heat and flavor. So next up is cilantro. So I'm going to go ahead, I just washed it and then chop it up. So I use the entire thing of cilantro because I think it just adds a lot of flavor. So that's just my personal preference. And then the last 2 things are lime and salt. So go ahead and squeeze that lime in. Ooh, this is a juicy one. I'm gonna add both halves. Good salt. And stir it up. So there's actually one last ingredient, and that is avocado. So I'm going to not add that into the end, and I like to be a little bit more generous on the avocado side because it kind of bulks it up. It's so good. And the great thing is the lime will help it not oxidize as fast, but you do want to add it in at the end. So what I'm going to do, and this is why it's so good to make, is like the longer this sits, the better. So I'm going to cover it up and let it sit, and then in a few hours I will test it to kind of see if it needs any more salt, any more lime, or any more jalapeno or garlic. Those are kind of the things that sometimes you need a little bit more of. So I'm going to wrap this up, put it in the fridge, and then clean up this disaster of the kitchen. Hey everyone, I'm back. Hey. So it's been a few hours. I have hair done now, makeup done now. I filmed 2 videos, which was awesome. Here is the aftermath of filming. Lola, what's your game plan? None of that is food. None of it. So I just filmed a hair tutorial and a haul that, that's what you just saw, a haul of some things I picked up for my vacation. So it is around 1:40. I have a few hours left, but I am starving. So, I'll show you what I'm having for breakfast. Oh, not for breakfast. You've already seen breakfast. Show you what I'm gonna have for semi-lunch. Like, you guys, this is no joke. I mean, I could literally take this to the friggin' potluck and serve at least a few people, right? Nice, half a cup of cottage cheese. Cottage cheese and fruit is so good. I love it. So that is kind of my lunch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to eat my lunch and then clean up the disaster of filming. And then probably chug on the corn salsa. And I'll take you along for the corn salsa to see if I add anything or not. Like how I clean up, just throw it all in the bag that came in. This is gonna be my 4th of July outfit. Looks nice out, so I think I'm gonna wear shorts. I don't really know. So I'm gonna check on the corn salsa. What to do. Taste it out and see if it needs anything else. This means real good. Okay.
Did you freak out? No. She sent out boxes of clothing and things to my cousin. He was in a flood and lost almost everything. My dad's phone ended up in one of the boxes.
It is so perfect. I don't want avocado all over me. So I chopped up the avocado. So that's just gonna go in. And I did 3 fairly, I was gonna throw that away. Fairly large ones, and I'm just gonna make sure that they get broken up. They weren't super ripe, but it's the best I could do, which it's fine in this kind of salsa because you do want it to kind of hold up because it's not guacamole, so it'll be fine. And so then again, like I said, I'm just making sure these are all, they kind of clump together, so I'm just kind of using the spatula to break them up as much as possible and really get them in there. Here is my tip. Is I went to the 99-cent store, no dollar store or anything like that, plastic bowl. And I also picked up, to be patriotic, a red spoon. You guys, this is genius because it's a pain to carry stuff because parking will not be easy. But then when I'm done, like, I'm just gonna throw this away. I don't need to save. I mean, if I could save it, if I find like a really close parking spot or whatnot, I can save it, but I won't feel bad throwing it away. And it's one less thing to carry back to the car. And same with the spoon, just toss it.